you find to be the most rewarding part of your work?
And this.
It's really, to add perspective, when we first started working on the show, I didn't even know that conventions existed. I didn't even know there was such things as Comic-Cons or anime conventions or anything like that. When we were doing this, we were just kind of working out of some crappy room in some bank building, recording this show with no air conditioning in the middle of a Texas summer. It was really uncomfortable, and we didn't even realize kind of how important it was to people until, I think the first time it actually ever sunk in was the first time we saw our cast on TV.
Well, and then we did San Diego. No, what happened was we did San Diego Comic-Con, and Funimation had, it was 2001. This is a great story. Funimation had flown us out, and this is before Funimation started really taking care of their actors because they had different staff. So they kind of treated us like shit.
It was back in the early days.
This is in 2000 or 2001.
They had no money.
They had no money also. But they also had a marketing guy who was a dipshit who got fired after this. Normally, you go to a thing, we have an autograph table right here, or at a big show like San Diego Comic-Con, you'd have your own booth at the table. Well, he had used that table to put gobs of Dragon Ball toys. And they flown out me and Sonny and Chris and Stephanie Nadolny. Was there anybody else? Just us. And they put us in a hotel that was next to like this horrible strip club by the airport, and they put us all in the same room, including Stephanie. We had to get her own room.
I had to buy her room.
So, because we're like, we're gonna have a girl with 4 guys and 2 beds, and we had to roll in a bed, and it was just crazy. So then luckily we happened to be right next to the ElfQuest booth. For those of you familiar with Wendy Payne's work, she happens to be a Dragon Ball fan. So it sunk in for us, I think, at the moment when we had a line so long, we had a 2 or 3 hour line. The fire marshal was called, and Wendy goes, "You can use our booth to sign." And they had the toys there, and then we were just sticking out on the edge. And when we saw this crazy line in San Diego Comic-Con, that's kind of when it sunk in for me.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Yeah,
it was amazing. We went to our first trip to Australia. We took together. They took us up this elevator, and when they opened the elevator doors, it happened to be like right where the panel or the signing was supposed to be happening.
Oh yeah.
And there was a group of Australians are. Firstly, insane people to start with, and they're insanely big fans of Dragon Ball Z. So when the doors open, I'd say, look at your group here, multiply that by like 20,
yeah.
All these people just went, wow!
Yeah, it was crazy.
Speak Vegeta, Mike! Speak Vegeta! Speak him!
They say do the voice, they say speak it, and it was very cute. And we've been back subsequently at least 15 times or more.
We have been super lucky. Not only we had a chance to do the series, we even got a chance to do a temporal do-over on the series, and we got
for Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Yeah, so we got to actually do the series again with better translation that was a lot more accurate. And I know some people have their opinion as to which one they like more. But Dragon Ball Z Kai, if you haven't watched it, something you probably should watch, because it really is the true story of Dragon Ball Z. It's
in 1/3 the time.
Yeah. Let's go. So yeah, it's been awesome. Like it's just been a great
This is the best part. Like, you're in the booth and you're busting your ass, and you feel like it's a thankless job, and then you come and get thanked, and it's amazing and gratifying. So thank you. Thank you.
The other great part is just sitting here, like, doing a panel with a girl with cat ears and a surgical mask on, recording the whole
Who
thing.
wants to show us her phone case real bad for some reason?
I'm not impressed.
It's a cool case, but yeah, it's all right. She's watching a movie. She likes us and like the Moana movie. She watches at the same time.
What advice would you give to anybody out there, voice acting or any career out?
Don't do it. No. So I'm not going to give you any advice because your voice is in my vocal range roughly, but it's not in his vocal range. So he will give you.
I can tell you this though: that the voice acting business has changed dramatically over the last 18 or 20 years. When you were first doing it, it wasn't as easy to record yourself in your house. There wasn't as much technology to have really good home studios in a very easy way. I mean. But now everyone has it. You can record. People can record all over the place. They're sending auditions all over the world when they're auditioning for things. So it's getting exponentially harder to be a voice actor.
Plus the union and plus with producers, trying to take more and more residuals away from us from various contracts. The heyday for voice acting in cartoons is like the 80s and early 90s, where they still have really good, crazy residuals. But now you can even do a popular show that's on YouTube, that's on Netflix, with a huge cast and get 0 residuals on the contract, which the union is trying to work out. right now. So it's in terms of getting into an industry that's slowly being squashed of its lifeblood. It's hard for me to recommend, but it is a very enjoyable craft.
If you enjoy it, I
Yeah.
usually tell people like to try and get it involved in as many things as you can around
it.
Yeah, because you might end up finding that like, while voice acting is something that sounds neat to you, you might find that you're a great audio engineer. You might actually be a really good writer, or you might be a good, post-production guy, or you might actually work great on film sets. I know they do a lot of shooting of films out here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Too. Get involved with the film industry. Just get involved with the industry.
Generally, and you'll find your way. You'll fall, as long as you keep trying and working at it, you'll fall into what's right.
Just keep honing your voice acting skills, and at some point, someone's going to go, "Oh man, we needed somebody to do this voice for this trailer," and like, we can't get the guy, and you go, "I get to give it a shot."
Yeah, it happens a lot. That kind of stuff happens a lot, oddly enough.
And a lot of times, video editors, when they're doing a commercial,
They
will
scratch.
sometimes do their voices to the scratch, and then the client gets so like used to hearing that voice. Like,
That happened to me on Halo. The scratch was done by a British guy, and they weren't going to do it. They wanted to do like a Worf impression. They said, "No, just do the British guy." And so we totally changed the voice in the session just because they were married to the scratch track.
Yeah.
And if that scratch track's good enough, they'll just use you. So that's one way. But study acting also.
Yeah, stay involved with acting. Get involved in as much stuff as you can.
Then move to a place where they do it.
I don't even know too many voice actors that can exist solely on voice acting. Like a lot of people have to do a lot of other things. So just try and be diverse. Be smart.
Yeah.
But I saw you tweeting about wanting to voice Okiyasu from JoJo, and I was wondering if you have a favorite JoJo part.
Oh, I only want to voice him because so many people have told me I need to voice him, that I should voice him, but I've never seen that show, not a single day in my life. I'm so sorry. Don't hurt me, guys. I work on a lot of shows. When I get home, it's like working in anime is like working at a pizza restaurant or something like that. Every day you want to come home and just only eat pizza or something like that. When I get home, I just want to play video games. I don't want to watch as much anime. So.
When I'm on a panel, I want to play video games too. The next question's for Chris. I'll be playing Zelda.
Yeah!
I'm this close to getting the Master Sword.
Hold on, Sean. I'll simulate the Zelda experience.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sean, what are you doing, Sean? You have to save me. It's great that you've gone so far.
My weapon broke! Really?
What's your favorite line in a school bar?
It's where he says, "I'm Kuwabara and I have a sword."
You just made my life way better.
Say hi to Yukita.
What are your favorite roles besides Goku in this video?
Rio and Myanmar and Shaman King and Dr. Crowler and Yuga GX and Batman of the Dark Knight Rises, and I love to thank you, and I love playing. I'm trying to think. That's most of the ones that come to mind. Lucario and Mystery of Mew. There's a bunch of ones. Chris has got. I know that you're really into My Hero Academia now.
Yes, that's what. It's just like, my favorites change all the time. The most fun I ever had voicing a character was called a Garter Belt in Pantheon Stocking. It's not the best show I've ever seen, but it is the most ridiculous show I've ever been.
You know, my favorite role you do is in the Borderlands 2 where you do the innuendo bot.
Oh, yeah.
I love the innuendo bot. It cracks me up.
Do you guys ever remember that? He was a robot character in
Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2. And everything he said, like, it was just a robot that had constant sexual innuendos. Like,
It was hilarious.
this battle should be hard, very hard, for you to win. Be careful, if you don't win, you could explode. And I have one question for you. Could I get the check, please? Seriously, you could just walk around anywhere.
Go to MGM Grand and just walk around and take people's drinks. Yeah. Can I take that? When they're like almost, and then
Just say, can I get anything for you?
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be $20.
and then go back. You can totally do that.
What character or show have you had the best time voice acting?
Well, Kappa Mikey was particularly fun because we recorded that round table with everyone in the booth, and being in the booth with Kevin Fernandez and Gary Littman and Michael Cinder Nicholas and Carrie Kiernan is a non-stop party. But as far as acting goes, playing Goku is a pain in my ass, but also kind of the time of my life because I'm screaming a lot. The character's not changing much. There's a lot of stress. But it's pretty exciting. King Kai's a lot of fun on Dragon Ball. So what about you, Chris? I'm not really thinking
The most fun I've had in a game role was probably. Are you familiar with a company called Twisted Pixel? They're out of Austin. They made like Explosion Man, Miss Explosion Man, and a game called Comic Jumper, which some people may or may not have ever played. But it was ridiculously fun because I got to play a character. It was supposed to be like Superman, except he was more like Yamcha. And the S on his chest was a different person. It was like a different person entirely. And the guy in his chest was a jerk. Like he was like a mean mix of Piccolo and Vegeta, just really super angry. And they just bickered the whole time. So the whole game is just me having a conversation with the emblem on
That's
my chest.
funny.
And he's just constantly making fun of me. And I also was in a game called Loco Cycle. It was the very, very last game that they released for the Xbox 360 before. It was right as the consoles were changing. So I don't think a lot of people played it, but it was a ridiculous game about a motorcycle that was being repaired, and this mechanic was working on it, and it became sentient or something because it got hit by lightning.
That's funny.
And then he was just dragging the mechanic behind it, and it could do martial arts and stuff like that. Highly recommend that game.
That's funny, man.
If you find it.
I have a question for you, Sean.
Yes.
It's concerning Pokemon.
Ah, yes, Pokemon, yes.
And my question is, out of all the Pokemon characters that you voiced, which one would you say is your favorite?
Lucario, only because it's the only one I voiced that says other things other than its own name. So, Lucario had actual dialogue. So there was that. Although I did enjoy Chandelier and I enjoyed a lot of just saying your name. It also makes for a really easy voiceover session, though. And then I had this idea, like, what if we could just, like, communicate in life using only our first names, like over the drive-thru. You go to Starbucks, like, Sean, 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 and then see if I get a vanilla soy latte medium-sized.
That's actually what I hear when you say anything.
Oh, thank you!
Yeah, I guess you didn't want to ask me about my amazing role.
Pokemon, yeah, you had a Pokemon role, that's
I had a 2-episode arc of major character named Cliff. He was a park ranger. I'm sure you all remember him. He was amazing, and I'm not even lying. Like they contacted me out of the blue and asked if I wanted to play this dorky park ranger. And then I tried to, my character tried to assimilate with one of them. What is it you do when you want to become one with the Pokemon or something? He tried to do that, but he got rejected or something. As you can tell, I know a lot about the Pokemon games. Hi.
About your role in Candy and Stocking.
Yes.
What's your favorite line?
All my favorite lines cannot be said during business hours. They need to be like after. He didn't say one clean line. Gosh. Oh my! I can only do like an edited version of it. Like, what the F it up with all this mother effery? And I can't even do it right. Like it's bad. So sorry. You'll have to just watch it.
The Blood Moon.
Do you want to? Since I gave you a really dumb answer, do you have another question or anything like that?
What's happening again? The monsters are coming back.
Oh, sorry.